The beginning of the film opens with a brief sight of a suspicious man named John Taylor, who appears to be fleeing from some sort of crime. He pulls up next to a car, opens his dicky, takes out some clothes, and gets dressed. John inserts a black bag into it. He fills a garbage bag with used clothing and steals a bicycle from a street corner. He rides a bicycle across the street to drop the garbage bag into the dumpster. He places his bicycle in the trash can and then proceeds to walk barefoot toward his own automobile. While driving, John smokes and finds his bleeding, severely injured foot. He stops at a store to acquire first aid supplies for his wounded foot. An armed robber enters the establishment and steals all of the cash from the cash register. When the man pulled out a revolver and demanded his wallet, John was shocked. John hands over his wallet without interfering in the robbery. John declined to comply with thief's request to drop off the disinfection bottle because it was the final bottle in the store. John mentions his hurting foot, but when the robber threatens to shoot him, he drops the bottle. John's wallet was taken along by the thief. John commits a bank robbery, which makes him the center of attention on every news channel. After hearing the news, the shop owner aimed a revolver at John, but he ran off in the direction of his car. Police have requested LA residents to contact their local police stations if they discover him and have released the footage from bank cameras on all TV channels. In order to identify him, police have described every single characteristic of his personality and car. He left his car and started looking for a spot to hide. He found a residence and confronted Kathy Knight, a woman inside. He explains that he is new to LA and that his foot injury was caused by a robbery. He asked to spend some time at her house making arrangements. Kathy wouldn't let John in, because he seemed weird. He locates another residence of Warwick Wilson and checks his mailbox. John discovers a letter written by his girlfriend, Julia, who resides in Australia. He presents himself as Julia's buddy while making up a new mugging incident. Warwick is cooking dinner right now. He declined to assist John because he was hosting a dinner, but let him in since he didn't want to upset Julia. Warwick greeted him and offered him a drink. Warwick's home is tastefully designed, and John compliments him on it. John keeps misleading Warwick by making up stories when he asks about his girlfriend Julia. Warwick manages to take care of John while also managing to make food for his visitors. John had planned to remain at their cousin's house, but since no one was home, he needed a place to hang out until they returned. Warwick promised to assist him and made a call to the luggage department at the airport to inquire about John's missing bags. Warwick assists him out of goodwill, despite John's attempts to dissuade him because he was just making up stories. In an effort to assist him, Warwick inquires about his credentials, including his ID card and airport luggage receipt. Given that he has lost everything, the airport luggage department is unable to find anything with fake credentials given by John. Warwick asked him to remain until dinner so he would have time to speak with a senior official at the airport and recover his belongings. He steals money from Warwick's wallet and has flashbacks of his bank robbery. Warwick is interested in every aspect of John and Julia's encounter in Sydney. John explains that they met at a birthday celebration through a common friend. The fact that Julia made no mention of John strikes Warwick as odd. Warwick's mind is blown with the idea of calling Julia. John is worried about the repercussions of his lies if the truth is revealed. John runs towards the living room, where weapons are hung on the wall. Thankfully, Julia didn't answer the phone, and John inhaled deeply. John examines his damaged foot in the bathroom and flashbacks of his sick girlfriend keep on coming. As the guests are about to arrive, Warwick is dressed formally and is constantly inspecting the duck that is in the oven. John inquired about the visitors out of interest. When Warwick reveals that one of them is a lawyer, John immediately decides to leave the house. He gives a lot of reasons why he wants to leave, but Warwick makes him stop. John learned that a bank employee had confirmed his identity as John Taylor, a resident of Los Angeles. Warwick threatens John, who is quite concerned, with a knife. Warwick was told to postpone his friend's dinner by John, who then took the bottle of wine. As soon as Warwick realized John was bleeding, he began mopping the floor. Warwick wanted to impart life lessons to him, but John cautioned him to keep his counsel to himself or risk being killed. John, who is seated on the couch, spots a picture of Warwick acting as though he is standing next to someone. John collapses abruptly. The wine has been drugged, and Warwick is not the person he seems to be. When he awakens, he is restrained to a chair, and the party is in full swing, but all the partygoers Warwick is conversing with are illusions. Warwick has concocted his own fictitious visitors. Monica, Roman, Rupert, and Chelsea are the visitors. John is being physically and mentally abused by Warwick. Warwick takes a Polaroid of John and shows him a scrapbook of his previous dinner parties, each with a murder victim, as well as a timetable of things Warwick is going to do to him. Detectives Morton and Valdez are investigating the bank heist. Detective Valdez displays a robbery eyewitness named Simone DeMarchi, who provides information regarding John. Detective Morton wonders how someone might divulge his personal information to a bank employee before robbing it. Warwick is busy making love with Chelsea, an imaginary guest. John is astounded by his insanity. In order to display a scary movie involving himself, Warwick leads him into another room. John continues to be drugged, scared, and rendered helpless as the night goes on, and he also discovers a number of interesting facts about Warwick's peculiar way of life. Warwick keeps on clicking photos of John for his scrapbook. Warwick heavily drugged John, who tried to call the police but was unable to grip the phone. Warwick ties John up with a swimming tube and enters the pool alongside him. John was wailing in agony, at a hot iron rod to John's wound. Warwick takes a second Polaroid of John and begins to compose a letter while believing Julia is in Bangkok. John observes that Warwick composes and deposits all of the letters in his own mailbox. Julia is also a fictional character of his imagination. Warwick granted John's desire for freedom in exchange for their agreement to play chess together. John would be liberated if he prevailed. If Warwick prevailed, he would kill John. John claims he hasn't ever played chess. He suddenly had visions of himself and his lover playing chess in the bathtub. John, who is a great player, triumphs. John is allowed to depart as arranged, but Warwick insults him and calls him second class and useless before he leaves. Warwick's living room has several swords on display. John grabs one of them and stabs Warwick. However, it turns out to be a pretend knife that collapses, causing Warwick to knock John unconscious. They are in Warwick's bathroom when John regains consciousness, and Warwick slits his throat. John's body is dumped in the garbage outside. When he awakens, he finds that most of his wounds are false. Warwick is an expert in film makeup. Kathy makes a report about her neighbors to the police department. Detective Morton rushes to his senior house after receiving some information regarding a bank theft. Warwick Wilson's true status as a police lieutenant is made known. Detective Morton examines the bank's recent 3-week-old CCTV footage. Taylor enters to drop off his slips but doesn't go see Simone. Simone, a bank teller, reports that Taylor used to approach her on dates frequently. Because of this, Simone is aware of his identity. On the day of the robbery, Taylor waits in a line so Simone may serve him. It is made clear that they were both participating in the crime. Simone betrayed John by revealing his identity to the police. Simone started planning a lengthy trip approximately 2 weeks ago, and it will begin today. To catch Taylor, Detective Morton advises following Simone. Taylor would undoubtedly pursue her to learn why she deceived him. Valdez is tracking Simone and sending location updates. While waiting, John develops a suspicion of Simone, the bank teller he was working with, and goes to confirm their meeting reservation for tonight. Detectives are after Simone as she leaves the residence to switch cars. Simone is found by John in a parking garage. Simone appears to be concerned about John and on the lookout for him. She says she has no idea how John's identity got made known to the police. She pretended to be loyal while the police searched for John throughout all of Los Angeles. John didn't believe her as she made him a fool once. He steals her switch car and the money, leaving her there for the detectives to find and apprehend. Before exiting the garage, Warwick stopped the car for John to check something downstairs. He brandished a revolver at John and took the car keys. Warwick threatens to have him arrested, but John asserts that he will reveal every single detail of Warwick's crime scenes at home. Warwick was certain that no one would believe John's claim because he was a police officer. However, they end up dealing with money. John gives Warwick all of his cash, which he takes and gives him just enough to cross the border into Mexico. After a few months, Detective Morton receives a letter from Mexico, which includes a Polaroid of Warwick and John's dinner party. Warwick is confronted by a suspicious Morton, who ignores him as John attempts to make fun of them. Warwick asserts that technology is the key, and John made this phony Polaroid. Morton finds it impossible to accept that Polaroid is a fraud. According to an eyewitness, he also mentions that John was living at your home after the bank robbery. The woman who lives behind Warwick, Kathy, makes many calls to the police station and describes Warwick's allegedly suspicious activities. No one ever takes her accusations against Warwick seriously, but Morton has recently done so out of curiosity. When Morton insists, Warwick gives an invitation to a dinner party. In the ending scene of the movie, Warwick's asked the same question about Vine from Morton. Another dinner party hosted by Warwick is going to be held. This video ends here. If you enjoy our video, don't forget to subscribe, Like and hit the notification button so you won't miss any of our video. And let us know your thoughts about this movie in the comments, and we will see you next time. Take care.